Alex introducing more new frame modern cards into the Old Man Magic podcast ecosystem.
The D&D sets at least have kind of like, a hook for me. I kind of care about the D&D.
You can talk about the new stuff. Yeah, I would encourage you to talk about the new stuff because you can learn about it and then you can tell me about it.
So I've mostly been focusing on like Forgotten Realms and Baldur's Gate. Just kind of interesting.
I love this art.
This art's so wonky. This is called Nalfeshnee. Is that how you would say it? Nalfeshnee? Nalfeshnee?
How would I pronounce this? Nalfeshnee.
Nalfeshnee?
Nalfeshnee is what I would say.
Yeah. This is like the time I tried to pronounce the Deli-Dinger.
Deli-Dinger.
It was like the Deli-Dinger. What was that?
Deli-Dinger.
It was a sandwich. Where's that? Denny's or Perkins? The Deli-Dinger.
I don't know.
Deli-Dinger. The waitress looked at me. The server looked at me. She was like, stupid.
It reminds me of the time when I called up. I'm having flashbacks. I'm having PTSD. Alex, you give me PTSD. When I was like 12 years old and I called up some magic store that had like an ad in the back of a magazine. And I asked them if they had a copy of Carcass. We were on the phone for like 5 minutes and they were trying to figure out what I was asking for. And I started describing what the card was. And I described Caracas and they laughed at me for minutes on the phone. This kid doesn't know how to pronounce Caracas. He doesn't know. Okay. How much longer are we going to do this for? Anyways.
I was on the phone. That reminds me of a story, Steve. I was on the phone back then when we were, 13. And it was someone I found on a Usenet post who was selling a card. And I ended up calling them on the phone. And I was like getting, I'm going to send you a money order. And I'm getting the guy's address. And he was in Sarasota, Florida. And he's telling me his address. And the way he said it, it sounded like he said Farafota. I was like, that can't be right. I know there's a Sarasota, Florida. So I was like, I made him repeat it like 3 times. And every time he was like, Farafota. And I was like, well, I don't. So I wrote Farafota, Florida on the envelope. And they got it there. Sarasota.
Oh, they got it there? I guess you have the zip code so they know.
But I always thought that guy must have gotten that like money order in the mail and been like, Farafota, what kind of idiot?
Maybe he thought you were making fun of his maybe a list or something.
Yeah, I thought that
wouldn't even be a list.
Ridiculing him.
Farafota.
I feel bad. Well, he was like getting mad at me on the phone. I was asking him though. I was like, "Are you saying?" He's like, "Farafota." Okay, man.
Did you just ask him to spell it?
I think I did. That's the problem because I couldn't tell if he was saying F or S over the phone. Still, I was like,
"Spell it."
You saying F, and he's like,
F-A-R.
Huh?
Spell it. F-A-R.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, Nalfeshnee. 1 red, 5 colorless, creature, beast, demon. 4/6 flying. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. You may choose new targets for the copy. If it's a permanent spell, the copy gains haste, and at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice this permanent.
I already got confused by the first sentence, Alex, because
a lot going on here.
Maybe I don't remember what exile was, but I thought once something
exile
was
removed from the game.
So how do you cast some? This must have been something that was introduced in the game after we first quit. We couldn't cast spells when they were in exile.
They never had anything when we played. It was just called removed from the game, and they never had anything. There might actually be 1 or 2 exceptions here because you had a few cards that could allow you to bring cards in from outside of the game. Maybe like anti-cards.
Like a ring of like things people weren't allowed to play with.
That sort of thing. So it was sort of there, but they called it removed from the game, and then eventually they changed it to exile, which I think is weird because once you do that, you open up the opportunity for things to interact with exile. So it's no longer removed from the game now because you can bring it back in. But yeah,
it's just Graveyard 2.
Exile is Graveyard 2 now. It used to be removed from the game, and now it's the deeper Graveyard.
Graveyard 2, 6 feet deeper.
I like
You may choose new targets for the copy. Okay. If it's a permanent spell, the copy gains haste. That only is important for creatures.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice is permanent.
Yeah.
So basically, all the creatures that my opponent Swords to Plowshared, I can bring back with haste.
Yeah. If you cast like an instant or a sorcery that's been exiled from exile, you get to fork it. Apparently, and I don't know why this is spiking. You can see this has gone up a few dollars recently.
Yeah, minor spike. Just people. It went from nobody knowing it existed to some people wanting to play it now.
Yeah. It's obviously being used for something.
Tough.
So I guess the key here to me, even though I don't know what's going on at all, is there's something else that lets you cast spells from exile happening. You know what I mean? There might be more cards that are now allowing you to cast cards from exile, and then you play this guy with them, I guess.
We have to learn about what's going on in the exile world.
It's a little complicated. I like that it's 4/6. I like when creatures have like big chunky toughness.
He looks like a 4/6er.
There's certain ratios you just don't see as much. And a lot of like the high toughness ratios I feel like are, absent from the game or at a low rate.
What was the very first ever UFC match? You remember the very first UFC match?
Like a Gracie versus...
No, it was a kickboxer versus
sumo wrestler?
A sumo, yeah. Nalfeshnee is built like that fella. Teila Tuli. Man, this is quite an intro here we got.
They had so much generic intro in these early ones. Remember that? They did these like little like fighter intro videos.
Gerard Gordeau, he was a Savate fighter. And the fight ended pretty quick. Anyways, he is the build. He is the build of Nalfeshnee. This is a 4/6 fighter.
Who that reminded you of.
Yeah, this is what I was bringing that up. A lot of stalking. Gerard Gordeau is a dirty fighter too. I think he was banned in a lot of places for serially eye gouging people. I think he actually blinded one of his opponents permanently by gouging his eye so severely.
Well, back in the day when this was happening,
this is where he kicks him in the face. Oh, and then that's the end of the fight. His teeth got kicked onto the announcer's desk.
Were they like not wearing mouth guards back then?
No, there's no mouth guards. What are you, Alex? A pussy?
Oh yeah. Oh geez.
Anyways, his build is similar. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of this. It reminded me of Teila Tuli.